Hello everyone, I'm making an information and instructions video for High Fender Mount for our awesome Tuareg 660 bike. Some time ago I have created two types of mounts for the UFX type fenders and for the Aprilia OEM Rally fender. What I mean by that I will show you in a second. What it means is that this mount is only for the OEM Rally fender. This is the Aprilia fender for the Rally type. And basically these two are identical, it's just a different color. This is my private one, this is one for sale. I'm just showing a different color. So this type is used for these fenders. This is Polisport UFX Freeflow. This is Polisport SM Line. This mount is compatible with more fenders. I will try to list them in the description. The main purpose of this video is to show you how to install the mounts on the bike and of course the fenders itself, and some more information about the low fenders. I'm going to show you how to install the UFX types. It's basically all the same. I'm going to install the Rally fender, but don't worry, every step is the same. Here you can also see two low OEM fenders. This is the original one, already cut off, already trimmed. This is the Rally fender. There are actually some differences. When these two fenders are installed, you will see that this one is actually closer to the tire. There's not really enough clearance between the fender and the tire. In here there is better clearance. So this one, in my experience, did not get packed with the mud or clay. It's also slightly more cut off and it's shorter. I will also be installing this one. Another difference is that the original low fender that comes on our bikes is very thin and it's very flexible. You can easily bend it. It's not easy to do it with one hand, but it's very flexible. Whereas this one, I think it's made from different plastic. This part of course is flexible because it's just very small, but the fender itself, when it's installed, it doesn't want to move. It's very hard, very rigid. Not sure how it's going to play out, but I'm using this one for the time being. No issues as of now. Before I have installed the Rally fender, I was using the original one that comes on our bike, and I cut it off. I cut some parts off. Here you can also see how flexible it is. It just jumps back with basically no damage, almost no damage. I don't think you would be able to do it on the Rally fender. I also just cut myself. Nice. Everyone is going to want to purchase the Rally fender, which is fine. You can always use the stock low fender, but I highly recommend, if you're going to install any of these high fenders, to at least trim the original fender, which means cutting the front off and cutting these sides. I believe you have your own bike, so you can compare how it looks. Some people even cut this part way more, so it looks something like this. It's up to you. What you can use for cutting it, well, I highly recommend some kind of grinder like this. If you have this focus, Dremel Oh, it's not visible here. I think it's Dremel SC426, something like that. It's made, this is disc for cutting plastic, and it's very easy to do it with this. If you order any of these mounts for me, either for the UFX type, these two, and some others, or this one for the Aprilia Rally fender, you will get the mount itself, this one or this one, 4 nuts, and all these fasteners. That's all you need. And of course you need the fender itself, one of these. These are pretty cheap, 20-25 euros. The Aprilia one is much more expensive. I think it was like 80 euros or something like that. What I like about the Aprilia one is, though, the color is matte, which fits the bike a bit more. And you do not need to cut it in the rear like you should do on these. What I mean by that, well, because you are keeping the low fender, either the stock one or this one, you shouldn't have the rear part, which is basically behind the part where it installs. So from here, this should be gone. You should cut it here. A similar thing is on the Freeflow. You shouldn't have the rear part, because as we are keeping all the lines here, if you leave it there, you know, it would hit the lines, and of course it would hit the low rear fender also. What I also wanted to show you, that these mounts are made of plastic. It's very tough. Nobody ever broke any of these, not even me, and I did some various strength testing with this. This is the mount, how it looks like inside. As you can see, it's not hollow. This is basically cut in half. I made one of these so I could show it to you. What I wanted to show you is the strength of the mount. This is, as I said before, this is basically made just only half of it. It's filled in. You are not going to break it. I have crashed the bike many times and had no issues. You will sooner break the high fender itself in a crash than this one. I have put this into vise, tried to break it somehow. It's not going to break. You will of course make a ding into it, but it's not going to break. Okay, here I'm quickly showing what the mount can take in big ways. Still no cracking. I'm using quite a lot of force. Yeah, can't move it anymore with one hand anyway. Of course, it bent a little bit, but otherwise it's completely fine. And these sides are from me putting it into the vise like this. I had no nuts inserted, so this collapsed a little bit, but you will never have any of these forces on the bike anyway. What we are going to do, we're going to install this mount with the fasteners here, this OEM fender, and this OEM low fender. Now, what I highly recommend to do, is to cut the bottom, the X pattern of the original high Aprilia fender. Before I cut it off, it was basically, it was very tall, and it went to this tall, 3 centimeters, maybe even 4. The reason you want to cut off the X pattern is because on our bikes, because of this lip, the fender, the high fender, sits a little bit lower than it does on the rally bike. It means that it is highly recommended to cut out the pattern, so when the fork fully compresses, maybe on some jumps or if you ride very very hard off-road, to prevent the bottom of the high fender from colliding with the low fender and maybe even with the tire itself. I will show you more about this a little bit later when both are installed. You don't need to cut anything on the bottom of these. There's nothing. But as I said previously, you should cut the rear part, maybe something like that. On this one, this is the most popular one, you should also cut the rear part, maybe trim it a little bit like this. If you figure out your own way, or basically you get rid of this loop and you will do the long hose, so it goes up here and down here, then you do not need a low fender at all, and you can of course keep any of the high fenders untrimmed. A quick information: you do not need the grinder for cutting the X pattern. It is very thin. What I used is this. I would normally use the grinder, but I wanted to show you that it can be done. Yes, it looks a little bit rough. I will have to clean it up a little bit later, but the point is, it's not really visible. When it's installed on the bike, you would need to go underneath the bike to actually see it, so it doesn't matter. You do not need to be afraid about the strength of the fender when you cut it. I mean, these fenders are very flexible. You can bend it. It's not really visible and hard to do with one hand, but these are much more flexible. But this one is flexible basically only on the front, you can see. But in here, it's so hard. If I use 2 hands, I will not be able to twist it in here, even with the X cut out. So cut it out. If you're going to use this fender, cut it out. If you are going to install one of the other fenders, such as this one, the Polisport ones, basically any of the UFX type, when you order the fender, you should also receive this. You need to put this between the fender and the mount itself. Like this. So when the fender is installed, it's like this. So what we are going to do first, if these nuts are not inserted yet by me, please just insert them here. It should be fairly tight. That's the first thing. Next, take the big screw and the corresponding washer, insert from below. I try to put a little bit of copper paste on these so it doesn't get stuck on you later when you try to uninstall it for some reason. If it's not there, please just use a little bit of copper paste. Take the anchor. It should have some electrical tape on it. If it doesn't, or it breaks, or there's too much, simply add or remove as needed. Screw it on as far as it goes easily. And then what we need is the screw I didn't have here before. Again, screw, corresponding washer from below. And we're going to install the mount on the bike. So first we will take the mount with the with the big screw, and we should insert it in the big hole. It should go in fairly tight, not that tight that you are not able to insert it, but it should, see, it should stay in there. Insert it fully, still, should stay there, should not be falling out. If it's falling out, you need to tighten it a little bit. Then take the small screw, insert it in the front, and screw in the small one fully first. I do not have a recommended torque, but you should not hear cracking. If you heard any cracks or something like that, don't torque it anymore. Basically, just torque everything by hand. Now, let's torque the big one. It's not going anywhere. Now, just a quick information, I'm not going to show you the installation of the low fender itself. I have removed it just for the reason that everything would be easy to see, and so you could see the low fenders side by side. Okay, now that the low fender rally fender is installed, you can see, if you can see, there's significantly more clearance. I can insert my hand somewhat into it. If you have the standard one, there's less clearance and the risk of it packing with clay. I have a clay hill near my house where I had the issue with the standard fender, where it actually packed and the front wheel did not move. With this one, it didn't pack at all. So if you have the rally variant of the low fender, I would say it's not only a visual thing, but it's also functional. Remember when I have talked in the beginning about the flexibility of the low fenders? As this is the rally one, if you have the bike, just go to it and try to press this. On the original fender, it will go straight to the tire. On this one, it barely moves, and I'm using a lot of force. Even the sides, it's much stronger. Only time will tell if it's a better solution than the flexible one or not. Now all that is left to do is to install the fender with the 4 screws and washers. All you have to do is to insert each screw with the washer into a hole from the bottom, insert it into the mount and tighten it. That's all. I'm not sure if we're going to see anything right now, but it doesn't matter. You obviously know what to do, right? One guy asked me why I don't make the mount itself a little bit slimmer. So there is basically, so the fender itself would sit higher. Well, it's not really possible. As you can see, I have made just enough clearance between the fender and the red beak. It's fine, it will never touch, but if you wanted to make the fender higher, you would need to trim this part, and it's not that easy. Go check it on your own bike. From the inside there are a few mounting points, I think here in the center and on the other side. I did not want to trim this one. And the new Rally version and the new, I think, 2026 version of the Tuareg, they have a different beak. They don't have this, but it's not compatible. You cannot just take the beak from that bike and put it here. It's not possible. You would need to exchange a lot of things. I think you need to change these, the headlight cover and a few more things, and it gets quite expensive. So I decided to use it like this. After install it on the bike, it looks like this. So if you want to get your own mount, I will put an email into the description where you can contact me, order one, or if you have any questions. Thank you for watching.